Please take your seat. Cominciamo a sederci. Buongiorno a tutti, benvenuti. Welcome everyone. Hello and welcome everyone. So take your seat. It's a true honor to be here with you today to introduce this very special event. So it's the first time that we have this reunion, the MIB Alumni School Association reunion, not in Trieste. So we are here in this enchanting venue. And as the governing council that we took in charge last year, Our aim was to offer to the association a memorable new experience. And being here, I believe that we've succeeded, at least. So we are in the most beautiful city in the world, in one of the, probably in one of the most iconic and prestigious buildings of Venice. And this is thanks and because also we are hosted and thanks to Generali Group and the Human Safety Net Foundation, which hosted us in this beautiful building in the very heart of Venice. And so, Cristiano Borean, the CFO of Generali Group and also president of the school, has sent his welcoming message. So, Cristiano Borean will welcome us.
I'm really happy to have you present in the Procuratie Vecchie in San Marco Square in Venice. MIB School of Management, which I have the honor to chair, is a very important institution for creating competencies, and I hope that your careers are a proof of this kind of achievement, but you can also, I think, through this school, gave you the tools to get there. San Marco Squares in Generali are linked because the lion is the symbol of San Marco, is the symbol of this company based here in Trieste, but having deep roots also in Venice. That is a magic place, a place where you are. It is a place where history has been written, and here you are writing the history of your professional lives. I really wish you a very fruitful and productive meeting in Generali Procuratie Vecchie. Thanks to be here. I wish you all the best, and thanks for bringing MIB School of Management around the world being known.
Okay, so I didn't introduce myself. So my name is Matteo Titotto. I'm the vice president of the association. Laura Princi, who is the president, was expected to be here to introduce the event, but unfortunately she had a personal issue this morning. She is coming. She will be here, I believe, in half an hour. So I took the stage instead of her. So. Now we would like to invite here on the stage our Dean, Andrea Cogna, who will speak on behalf of the school management team.
Hello everybody, it's great seeing you here. We thank a lot the board of the Alumni Association for having organized such a beautiful event in such a wonderful place. As a matter of fact, this is the week of reunions for us because we have just closed the 2 days reunion of the originally former students program in Trieste, where we hosted 160 close to students, almost a half of the entire attendance of the 23 editions of Origini program, coming from 17 countries. It was really, really thrilling, to meet people which we had previously met 20 or more years before. This is the annual meeting of the Alumni Association, but it's even more important because we put together people coming from so different programs of the school, not only one, and of course, many different countries and many different editions. I will say something about the number of editions because it's quite impressive. But let me say something about the place, the venue. Again, as you said, it's the first time we have this event held outside Trieste. And the number of people I see is proof that this was a very good decision. Maybe it's not just Trieste, although Trieste is charming and a very attractive city. But I've been told that Venice too is. not only Venice is also a symbol of something that we, MIB, we consider our key features. I mean, the international drive of the historical Venice, and also the, how can I say, multiculturalism, can I say so? I mean, the capacity to put together people of different origins, different nationalities, different languages, and to help them live in peace together. Okay, so this is part of our mission as a school. Now, something about the number of editions of the programs we are hosting here. You know, it's very impressive. We have been running programs for more than 30 years, and now we are launching the 35th edition of the MBA, the first one, the 26th edition of the Master in Insurance. We are launching the 27th, if I'm not wrong, edition of the Executive MBA, which means that the previous editions have been completed or close to. And we are also, again, as I told you, launching the new 24th edition of the Origini program. 23 have been completed. We have run successfully also 14 editions of the Executive Master in Insurance and Finance. So I think that, and this is just, you know, part of the portfolio of programs of the school. I think this is quite meaningful because it's a sign of the capacity of the school to provide, to give continuity to the programs, which is, I think, also a means to strengthen the value of belonging to this association. In a sense, you know, you can attend such events, you can meet people which has attended your program 20, 30 years before or later. I think it's very, very special and unique. And I think it's also giving you and us, I mean, a proof of the fact that these programs have been quite successful so far. And so it's a sign of the strength of the brand of the program, the brand of the school, the brand of your degree. Again, in this respect, I think that being here in the home of Generali in Venice is important because we are grateful to the many stakeholders, and Generali is one of them, one of the major, for the support they give to the school. Because we do need support, not only from, of course, the alumni, but also from the business world and other private and public institutions. Generali does entirely its, part, and it is not by chance that Cristiano Boren is our chairman, and this is not just an honor role. Okay, it's very substantial too. What are we doing with the stakeholders and with their support and with your help? Of course, we are trying to guarantee continuity. Of course, this is our key role, but also trying to keep aligned with the changes, in the scenario and with the evolution of the management disciplines. We have to stay tuned to this. Of course, we are not just a school that is looking back. We are looking forward too. And so there is also innovation to assure. In the programs, we have several brand new programs which we have launched after the COVID. For example, the Executive MBA in Business Innovation, just to name one, or some corporate masters as well. But we are also innovating in the strategy of the school. We believe that we have to continue to invest in our faculty, in our capacity to generate knowledge and not to depend too much on the parent universities. This is why we are recruiting new faculty. And we are asking for the support of stakeholders also to be able to allocate further resources on not only teaching but also researching and putting the fruits of this research at use for the business world. What else? We have a new board of directors. I'm not mentioning the names, so you can check them, on the web. But it's a very, very meaningful to see, represented in the board, the chief people of the key stakeholders of ours: Generali, Allianz, Danieli, Fincantieri. They are all listed companies in their own countries, but also local, but I mean local for Trieste, institutions like the Port Authority, and HERA, which is, again, another listed public institution. So we have key people from these companies which are helping us define the direction to take. On top of this, we have, of course, the support of Cristiano Boron, but also, of course, we should not forget the driving role of the founder and the CEO of the school, Professor Vladimir Nanut. We have a very high-standing academic advisory board, which is composed from people of different business schools in Italy and in the world. They are helping us define the direction, along with a steering committee, which is composed by HR managers of leading institutions. So we are not alone in this. Of course, you too, you are part of this effort. And that's what we guarantee to you, to continue to invest in the school, in the brand of the school, in the brand of the programs you hold, and in such events, which are so important, because, the strength of a school is also defined by, the size and also the, how can I say, the passion shown by its graduates. I wish you, during these 2 days, the best in terms of insights, to get from the panelists, also, from the discussions which will take place, for sure. And also to take this opportunity to get to know each other, because probably there are people that didn't meet, with other people. So these are, the goals of such events too. And to have fun. Of course, this is the key ingredient. I apologize because very soon I have to leave the room, because I have to drive to Turin. I have to be there before the evening. So I'm sorry I cannot stay with you, but I hope that, you can do for sure without me. I promise that other people will soon join you from MIB. In particular, Stefano Pilotto, that is coming, he said, by boat. I don't know how, but he said so. And I take also the salutations and best wishes from Professor Nanut, which is not here with us in person, but it's surely in spirit. So thank you and best wishes.
Thank you, Andrea. Okay, so I believe that Andrea has highlighted one point that, yes, after the COVID, of course, but I believe that it was just circumstances that made the change faster, but everything is now fast, so, and we need to adapt, we need to change, we need to adapt to the change that the world is now, I would say, putting us in front of. And when we were planning the reunion for this year, we needed to find out and to define a topic for the reunion. And our strategy on finding the topic was to say, we were thinking, okay, so we have a network of alumni, we have a community, and we want to hear the voice of our community. So that's the reason why at the beginning of I would say at the beginning when we started to plan the reunion, we decided to make a survey. And the survey was very helpful for us to understand the preferences of you, basically, of you as a community and of all the members of the association. And the decision at the end of the game was, and because we understood that this was a need by you to focus on the topic of leadership during these changes that we are, I would say, we are seeing every day in our business world, in our professional life, and sometimes also in our personal life, because basically in the last 3-4 years, everything changes. And so we played, I would say, with the title, we played between the two words to being in charge and to change. And this is because we wanted to give, I would say, a little insight with the title to say, okay, we need to be leader in a changing process, but we need also to be in charge, because it's also our responsibility to make the change happens and to also make our organization, our profession, and our life to adapt to all this change that that we are living, I would say, every day. And for this reason, and another point, we also have to adapt a little bit today our agenda, also because this morning we had some there were some troubles with the train and so on. So we need a little bit to adapt the agenda. Our keynote speaker, Ernesto Chora, will talk after the coffee break. So we will anticipate a little bit the coffee break. And now we will start with our panel discussion. Sorry. Okay, so I would like to invite on the stage now our guest for the panel. So I would like to invite Emma Ursic. She is the executive. She is the executive officer of the Human Safety Net. So afterwards, maybe we will take some minutes for you to introduce the Human Safety Net and the topic. I would like to invite Maurizio Prete. He is the Maurizio is the co-founder and president of the Mitikoru Foundation, and afterwards he will tell us something about that. And Alessandra Lo Monaco. She is an alumna of the association, and she is also CEO and founder of Hyuki, a benefit company. And she is also past president of the Alumni Association, I believe in 2017. 2015, 2017. And I would like to invite on stage Enrico Cerni. He is the head of faculty and mandatory training at Generali Italia, and he is also the president of the Complexity Institute. Okay, so this introduction was expected to be done by appunto Laura, the president. She will be here in a few, so I need to act in the, I would say, in the double role now, and I will moderate the panel with our guests. So, okay, I would like to take the first round to allow everyone to introduce themselves, so a couple of minutes each, just to understand, to know better who we are. Please, Emma, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Wonderful to have you here. I have been with Generali a few years, but maybe you're interested in my professional journey. I have a degree in Chinese from Oxford, and then from there I did an MBA. And then I worked for different corporations, Taiwanese, British, and Italian. And then in Generali, this wonderful thing happened that I managed to kind of work on the business as the head of corporate identity for the Generali group, but at the same time working on what it really means to be Generali for the stakeholders, and then building up the foundation, the human safety net. Now, this is the home of the human safety where you're sitting today, and this again was an incredible thing that not things that you anticipate in your career, to have the opportunity to handle something so special and give it a mission. So this is what, thanks to the management of Generali, we were able to do here. A space for social innovation in the heart of Piazza San Marco, a space for convening, for thinking about the future, a space to share with the public, because we have the exhibition space. I hope you have a chance to visit it, where we explain the work we do and encourage other people to join us in this movement. So happy to be here today, happy that you could be here and experience this, and looking forward to the conversation.
As you heard, I'm Maurizio Prete, and usually when I introduce myself in a school or a postgraduate, I start with my dreams, or the dreams that I had, and I still have. And the first was to meet and to learn from different cultures in the world, and the second, to defend ethical value in decision-making process. Then I more or less 30 years ago, I discovered that the corporate turnaround is a hard field in which I could use and apply humanistic leadership. And it's the turnaround. Turnaround means when you start with a company which is in bankruptcy or near to that. And I had the chance to work and lead several companies in this field around the world. And I think that this could be a good example of complexity and leadership and application of leadership. And in fact, is what I'm doing now in being co-founder of Cultural Foundation. One is Mitikoro, which is involved in try to apply humanistic leadership in complex challenges. And the other one is the Capitolare Foundation in Verona. We manage the oldest library still open in the world. We are simply 1,500 years old. And it's another good example of complex challenges.
Hi, everyone. It's really emotional for me to be here at the reunion and see how far this event has gone during the years. So thank you for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be here. And what I can say, I have a economics and management background. I studied here in Venice, and then I did the executive MBA 14. So I graduated 11 years ago. Then after almost 20 years of experience in corporate, I decided to found my company. It's a UKI, it's a benefit corporation. And what we do, we take the wild ideas from small teams or people and bring these ideas take this idea to realities in an innovative and sustainable way. I also founded a community of female entrepreneurs. It's Restart Her Academia. It's the benefit arm, let's say, of my company, which is, as I said, the Benefit Corporation. And I help women to realize their entrepreneurial spirit and their ideas, to take their ideas into the real world. We do events and we organize workshops, webinar, online courses, everything we can do to leverage a knowledge, to leverage the sharing, to share knowledge between women, between our community, because this is really important. Okay, thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Enrico Cerni. I work for Generali Accademia Italia, that is one of the different many institutions that are dedicated to learning in our complex group. And I'm responsible for faculty and mandatory training. Faculty, it's a very interesting domain. It means that we are helping people to learn with the help of the people that work in our company. And I'm very proud for that. I think that as you in this alumni association, also in general, we try to let the people learn in the place they want and in the place they need to learn.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I would like to start with Enrico. So, as the last is the first. Okay. So, I also saw your TEDx. That is a very interesting. So, I suggest you to take a look to a TED talk that Enrico take some years ago. I don't know how many years ago, but anyway, some years ago. And he was often, he highlighted the difference between complication and complexity. And this is something that seems to be very clear, but sometimes I believe that in our life we try to, we have some, sometimes we make the meaning of these two words not really different. So, and but you pointed out exactly what is complicated isn't always complex, and what is complex ain't necessarily complicated. So, could you explain us how you distinguish these two ideas, or I would say?
Yes, with a lot of pleasure, and I help myself with a sheet of paper for that, and I ask you to reflect about what is a sheet of paper. If we have this sheet of paper without plies, it's a simple sheet of paper. But if I ply it, I have a complicated sheet of paper. Why complicated? Because it has a lot of plies. Okay? With a lot of plies, something that has a lot of plies, we call it complicated, with a lot of plies. If I explain a lot of plies, I arrive to a simple sheet of paper. So, complicated is the opposite of simple. It's very simple. A car, it's a complicated tool, because if I have the instruction, I can manage, I can build a car exactly in the same way I had before, and I try to have the single elements. If I had all the elements, I can follow some rules, and I have always the car. But it has anything to do with complexity. If the opposite of complicated is simple, what is the opposite of complexity? Because the complexity has anything to have with plies. Complexity means it's like a texture. It's some elements that are interrelated, the one with the others. And so the opposite of complexity is the banal, is the slogan. And we have to understand this difference in order to work correctly in our complex organizations. The complexity cannot be reduced. We don't need to reduce the complexity because the organizations are complex. We have to reduce the complication. And so, to have all the opportunity to introduce some, in general we call them detox processes, in order to have a complex situation without complexity.
Thank you, Enrico. Thank you. And just to close this subject, so I would like just to ask one question to Enrico. So, in your role, how many times are you called to flatten plies? And so to explain the complexity.
I think that all the time that is dedicated to learning is a time to try to have a hug with the complexity, because the people are complex system. Every single person is a complex system, and when different people are working together, they build a complex system of workers. And if a lot of workers work together, they build a company that is a complex system. So every time that we learn something, we arrive to understand the complexity of our soul, of our mind, of our body. And so we can recognize the body of our organization. We can recognize the mind of our organization, the culture of our organization, and also the soul of our organization.
Thank you. So learning is a way to flatten plies. Thank you. Alessandra, I was thinking today, in the last days, when I was preparing the topics, and I would say for the event, I was thinking that also in our governing council we have 3 generations of people. So there is the generation X, generation Y, and generation Z. And unfortunately, I'm of the oldest one, but that's another subject. Okay, and we need to work all together, and we did it. So we really work as a team all together, also to organize this event and all the other, I would say, activities that we are doing as an association. And this is pretty something that I can see also in my professional life. We have a lot of generation inside our organization, and a lot of generation that needs to work together with different needs, different culture at the end of the game, and different way of working. So, and diversity and inclusion are important driver on leading business today. So, in your experience and in your opinion, what does a leader need to be able to pick up all the opportunities that D&I can inspire?
Thanks for this question, because I think it's really important nowadays to talk about this topic. But first of all, I personally don't like the words diversity and inclusion. Why? Because instead of talking about diversity, diverse from who, from what? I'd like to talk about uniqueness of people. So if we recognize the uniqueness in each person, if they're young, not young anymore, or if they come from a different culture, from a different country, from a different background, of different gender, if we can recognize the uniqueness, then everything changes, the perspective changes. So we are able to listen to these people, to view with different eyes. And inclusion, instead of inclusion, I prefer to talk about openness, working together, integration, if you want. Because we live in a very complex world, as Enrico was saying. It's a complex, our organizations are complex, the world is complex. We cannot think as we used to maybe 30 years ago in silos, or thinking about having boards of director leaders in organizations like very homogeneous people. That because these people, not because they are not good, they might be excellent in their job, with their experience and backgrounds, but they are limited. Their vision is limited because we operate in a global market, and our products and services go to different people, from different countries, from different backgrounds. Most of the time, women are the decision makers in the family about buying, about the consumer side. So if we only have, for instance, men, or like baby boomers, men in a board or in the leadership positions, maybe they don't have the right perspective of the decision of their buyers, of their consumers. This is one thing. So it's not just a matter of ethics or it's a good thing to do. It's not like now we always hear about diversity and inclusion. It's like a fashion. It's like a trend topic. It's like a rainbow washing, green washing, pink washing, and we know about this. We don't have to think in this way. We have to think like a really important driver for organizations to lead the change, because the change is every day. We need to understand, and to understand what's happening in the world, we need different perspectives. This is for sure. So diversity, it's not only a matter of leading diverse team, but to integrate all different teams, cross-functional teams, also because this drives innovation.
And finding the uniqueness. So is that diversity, in your opinion, and I really agree with this, means finding uniqueness on people, and inclusion means integration. So that's the message, I believe. That
exactly, because inclusion, the meaning is closing inside. Yeah. We don't want to be in a cage. We don't want to be homologate. We want to be unique in an environment, in a landscape that recognize us, that listen to us, they see us. We are not invisible people. Because how many people like minorities, also women, sometimes in boards, they feel like invisible. You don't feel recognized. Mm-hmm. And this is not a good sign of a good leadership team, in my opinion.
Thank you, thank you. So just before to give the mic to Maurizio, I would like just to tell you that after every round, we will really appreciate if there are any questions from your side to our speakers, so we can give you the mic and the space to ask a question anytime. So, okay, Maurizio, you have an extensive experience in leading companies through critical transition. I understood that in the past you were called to manage this complex situation. And what has been the toughest challenge that you've faced and how you overcome it? So maybe you can give an overview on your way of managing this kind of situation.
Okay, I accept to answer to your question if you allow me to challenge Enrico before, because before, you asked to him about complexity and complication. I think that at least I never studied it, so it came from the field. What I found really complex, an event become really complex, or an organization become really complex, a problem become really complex when you add simply one variable, time. In all sense, time, speed, acceleration. So from my experience, really, when the parameter change continuously, when the variable are never stable, that create complexity. I agree with you independently if it's complicated or not. But and if you start with speed and then you add also acceleration, then become much more complex. So my I cannot say definition because I really come from the field, but at least thinking about your question, I tried to find an answer. My answer was yes. When the speed, the acceleration change continuously the parameter, that became a really complex situation. But eventually we can discuss on that later. No, okay. As I said before, my experience, I spent more than almost 30 years leading companies in different businesses during the phase of recovery and possibly a successful future. I still check after years and years all the companies where I work, and all of them are still alive. So that's my personal record. One element that immediately impact in this case when you arrived in a company and in a situation like that is the lack of information. It's really something that it's common in all cases. Lack of information and sometimes also fake information, because some predecessor possibly have tried to save the company in all possible way. Then another element is that because you don't have time, remember, and you have to take a decision every day in a very accelerated way, you can make some mistakes. So you have to accept that make mistake is part of the game. I'm not saying that you don't have to avoid it, but these are part of the game. And possibly you have to recognize the mistakes as soon as possible and change it very quickly. You have to use other system of information and control. So you should spend time and energy in understanding a weak signal, because sometimes the standard signal are not reliable. So you need other method to collect your information, and always develop your lateral thinking, because the normal way of making this business is not will bring to bankruptcy. So you have to change it. If you want, I can give you some examples just to put some salt on the. And for instance, starting from lack of information, all the companies that I managed were multinational. So, one country, another country was, once I arrived in a company, obviously a part of the time, money was a critical issue. And at a certain point, after a few days, I discovered that there was one subsidiary in China with a huge account in the bank, roughly $20 million. That was, for me, was wow. And I said, well, okay, let's move it. We will pay eventually some dividend tax, and China is 10% dividend tax. So it's good for the other subsidiary, particularly the Italian one, that was a black hole. And but then they found a lot of, oh no, it's possible, and there are some problems. I said, well, I didn't have time. The company had 27 industrial subsidiary worldwide, so I didn't spend too much time on that. But after 3 months, I flew to China, and I met the local CEO, and again, no information. So I asked to meet the bank. No information again. I say, okay, gentlemen, you have here almost $20 million. No interest. I cannot take it. There are a lot of barriers. So let's start with one point. The day after, first of all, you can imagine, I fired the CEO, simply. Then we have the legal problem later, but that doesn't matter. I put another person in order to get the information inside the company, and I discovered in one day that the 20 million were a guarantee for other, and then that's it. So I went back and I started with an investigation, an international investigation, and simply I discovered that the money came up in Macau and were controlled by another company in Hong Kong with the same name of our company but a different shareholder. They borrowed the money, they sent the money to the Turkish subsidiary and to the Belarusian subsidiary, and the money were sent to the Polish subsidiary that was investing in a new crazy factory that never started. And with this money, the money went back to Italy. Obviously, the money disappeared. And that's, with this, knowing that, and pay obviously all tax, I was able to recover more than half of the money there in China for the rest of the group.
So they put together a very complex network.
Absolutely, very good engineering, financial engineering at the top.
Thank you, Maurizio. Emma, so first of all, thank you for having us, because this is your home.
We have to thank also your president, Cristiano Boren, right,
Yeah.
our CFO.
And so maybe I would like, first of all, that you will take the opportunity to tell us what the human safety net is. But afterwards also, I have a question which is I hope it's pretty linked, because human safety net is part of the giving back, I would say, strategy for Generali Group, which is an important corporate purpose, I would say. And so I would like to ask you how, also in your position, so how are you able to engage all the stakeholders of the company? So maybe there are stakeholders that are more focused on the business but needs to know what's happening here and needs to know and to be aligned with the purpose. And how can leaders, or how you ensure that all these stakeholders are engaged and aligned with this purpose, with the vision, with the giving back vision in this case? And what strategy have you found effective in fostering this unity of the team?
A lot of questions in one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll try and give you I think it's a strange moment in the world, because on the one hand, maybe even some of you, but the new generations now coming into work, I always hear the HR colleagues saying they want to work with a purpose. They love it when we talk to them about the human safety, that the company is not just about making money, but it's also about making a mark in society. So I think this is, of course, something that you hear a lot. On the other hand, then you see Harley-Davidson and Corona that pull their diversity and inclusion plans. They close them down because they had pushback in America. So, of course, there's a lot of this going on, and one has to navigate all this. And in my role, I'm the head of corporate identity for Generali, and I think this is a very good question about who you are regardless of what's happening out there, because you believe in your values and it's kind of a long-term thing that you do. And I think at the same time, as managers, as you are or will be, is whatever you do, whether it's intentional or not, is talking about what you do as a person, but also as a company in your exercise of your power and role. What we try to do with the human safety net is essentially align with the values of Generali and the purpose of Generali, so that also that part of the work that we do that, yes, is philanthropy, venture philanthropy, is speaking to that, is aligned to that, and is giving opportunities to the company to show in the communities what we stand for. So this is a little bit the story behind the creation of the human safety net. The purpose of Generali is that of accompanying people to achieve their lives, their life plans and dreams. So it's a pretty big, high thing. But if you think about it, insurance is for the long term, planning your life, planning your future, and taking care of the people you love. This is really, then, you know, the reputation of insurance outside is not necessarily matching that, but this essentially is what we are handling as a business. So the Human Safety Net was born with the idea that in the communities where we live and work as Generali, because we are only there where we have the business, we reach out to the people who might need insurance the most, but can least afford it. That is the Human Safety Net. So we say everybody has potential, not everybody is able to express it, and then we chose to focus on two areas. One is vulnerable families with children 0-6, because we saw the brain science of the first years of a child's life and how if something happens or doesn't happen to you in those first years, the cognitive, the emotional, the whole soft skills part of your life as well can really be influenced, and then educational attainment, work attainment, health, even happiness, but then also inclusion, social inclusion can really kind of take a very different turn. And the other one is refugees. That's all over the place, on the news every day. And it's not about emergency, but it's building a life when you reach your host country. How can you integrate? How can you find a job, maybe for what you studied for, rather than having to clean the streets when you're an engineer? How can you, if you were an entrepreneur before, start over with some help in understanding the environment around you? So it's beautiful that in these years, despite COVID, we managed to help 550 entrepreneurs build up their small businesses. So these stories, I think, talk a lot about what Generali stands for, coming back to the connection. And to me, it's deeply connected. And I tell you also why. Because the way we're trying to do it, and it comes back also to this place as a social innovation hub, is grant money, philanthropy is useful as and important, but it's never going to be able to solve anything on its own without the other two pieces: the governments, government policy, government intervention, and companies, the private sector. So I think all of us in our companies, we are in a way in a very privileged position to be able to have some very good skills and organizational strength that maybe other situations don't have. If you think about NGOs, the third sector. So I think it's an enormous opportunity, and I think what we're trying to do in Generali is not just philanthropy, but for example, looking at investing. You've heard about impact investing. You know, this is a new and growing thing. We are looking at that also with our colleagues. How can we do more of that? Because that would really reach a scale that goes well beyond philanthropy, because philanthropic money, if you're not Gates, eventually finishes, right? Even with Gates. And on the other side is, how can insurance serve people that today are not typically customers? Because they don't have the money, because they don't have the culture, because they would probably never walk inside an agency or go and look for a policy. So there's a whole new world of also, for example, public-private partnerships, thinking of climate risks, some risks that are becoming uninsurable, for example. We're working with UNDP as Generali there to try and find solutions, for example, to support small and medium-sized companies in Asia. Because often, if they don't have an insurance, they can't get a bank loan. And you can understand that, you know, it's a circle. So what is the role of insurance, and how can all these pieces work together, not individually, to kind of show what Generali stands for and create a culture and work in the communities as an important part of this triangle that I mentioned before. So I think as private companies, we have enormous opportunities there. I hope I answered you.
Thank you. Thank you. So any question from the audience? So maybe, see, thank you, Nicoletta, if you can take the mic and...
Hi, Emma. Thanks a lot for the introduction about what you do at Human Safety Net. It's, you know, us being, a lot of us are migrants, probably from different parts of the world. How do you, because I think the work that you do right now is working a lot with, let's say, the developing countries and where you are based. Of course, there's also the other side where a lot of migrant issues are there because of local ignorance towards people, let's say, for Italy, you know, where are poor parts of Italy. How do you balance that to not only work with the different societies, but also in the home country where you are? And I think it's a very complex, I just wanted to understand your thinking and thought process around it.
Oh, that's a very fair question, and I thank you for it. We have two programs, and the idea is that we help both refugees but also the local population. So the family program is typically working in about 500 cities in the world in the peripheries, where there are a lot of people who feel disenfranchised and no access, no network, mothers, single mothers, or families who are really struggling. So I think it's about looking at both. UNDP was here presenting a report, and it said that 50% of people in general worldwide feel that they're not in control of their life. So I think we need to address both. But then the other thing we're trying to do with the work we do with refugees is that by supporting them, we want to show that a way to integration is possible and share these stories, not to pretend that there aren't difficulties or everything is easy, but that this is a path that can be traced and shared and grown, so that even the host society can really benefit. And I think more and more when you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, they are having trouble finding personnel. And so what we're doing now is trying to match some of the training path that we have for refugees for jobs that are really in need of people. So I think it's a combination of the two, and a very contentious issue. I was very happy a few years ago when Generali chose to, when we proposed this, and it was at the beginning, there was a Syria crisis for Europe. It was something new that they were reckoning with. And I think it's about finding practical solutions and showing examples. And this is really a lot of our work. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other question?
Thanks you all for introduction. I do have a simple question for Mr. Czerny, and the question is if you consider more simple or more difficult, easier or more difficult to manage a complex situation or to manage a complexity.
A complex or a complicated situation. It's very clear. A complex situation is very difficult to manage. If you want to go with a motorboat from Venice to Trieste, you know exactly how is the time to arrive from here to there. More or less, of course, more or less. But you know what is the trip that you want to do, that you want to have. You know exactly, if you have an input, what is the output that you can have. In a complex situation, this is absolutely not possible. In a complex situation, you have to accept the unknown. I don't know. If I go from Venice to Trieste with a sailing boat, that is a complex situation. I don't know how much time do I spend to arrive there. It's not possible. If I introduce, I responded to Maurizio of your interesting point of before. The time is not related to complex or complicated. If you wanted to build a car in the half of the time, you just put more resources, and you can have exactly the same result. If you wanted to build a team, can you arrive at the same result in the half of the time? It's not possible. You cannot know it before. That is the complexity. Complexity is related to life. Complication is not necessarily related to life. We can be engineers in order to resolve complicated problems. we need different competencies in order to resolve complex situations. What about the migrations? It's a complex situation. You have not a receipt in order to give some responses. And there are some responses. The word is colorated. We have the mind of Ulysses in order to understand the complex situation. A word correct for every different situation. And so the answer is it's more simple to give a response to a complicated situation.
Please, please, please.
Yes, it's working now. I want to say complexity is related to human beings because we are unpredictable. We are unknown to ourselves and to our closest familiars. So just to relate to what I was saying before about D&I, about generations, young people or minorities or women in corporates, the problem-solving skills, the so-called soft skills, so communication skills, the being empathetic, being able to listen to people, and especially to be able to solve complex problems that relates to people, to human beings. Everyone, not everyone, but you don't need to be a certain age. You don't have to have such a huge experience to be able to communicate or to be a man or from a specific country. Or to what I want to say that soft skills are transversal. So being able to value the uniqueness of people, nowadays soft skills are much more important than other skills, the technological skills, for instance. Technological skills, you can acquire technological skills. You go to a business schools or to you do a training course and you acquire the technical skills. But the soft skills, the human skills, are very transversal. And you can find them in a very young generation or in all the generations that find difficult to go back to work, for instance, after a break during their career. Over 50 years old people find difficult to go back to corporates sometimes, no? It's difficult also, and also for Gen Z. They find difficult, even if we find them, we find 4th generation nowadays in corporates. But it's, so when we say being able to integrate people in teams, in organization, is also good for the performance of the company.
Yeah. Okay, so I have another question for all of you, so maybe a quick question. Afterwards, we will go through our networking cafe, and then we will wait for our speaker and for our alumni assembly. Okay. Thank you, Professor Pilotto.
I have a question for Alessandro if we have time.
Afterwards, let me make this last question, and then we can go. So, okay, learning, as we are alumni of the business school, so I believe that we all believe in learning and in continuous learning. So learning is essential for overcoming complexity. And learning, sometimes learning also by doing, so learning from the field. And in our opinion, how can a leader foster a culture of continuous learning within their team, which is essential nowadays, I believe? It's for all of you, so.
Yes, I think that it is the point. We cannot finish our learning moment when we finished our university. We needed to introduce a new mindset, the mindset of surprise, the mindset of, in Italian, meraviglia. And meraviglia means to mirare, or to observe, to look at the different situations that are in front of us. It means curiosity. And I think that curiosity is the buzzword in order to learn continuously. If we want to learn more and more, we need to be surprised. That means catched up from a place and bring in another place. Surprised, preso sopra. And this is the only way to learn, to accept, not to stay here, but to go in another place. Then that means that in a complex situation, we don't know where this place will be.
Yeah, curiosity is very important always, but nowadays even more. And because we need this continuous learning approach and in organizations, also for ourselves. And in my opinion, leaders must lead by example. So they, first of all, have to start learning, continue to learn, continue to be open. If they do that, they demonstrate that continuous learning is part of the culture of a company. It's a value for a company. So continuous learning is a part of the culture, and it's part of the values of a company. And also a knowledge when people is taking time to follow a course, for example, for an executive MBA or an executive course. If people want to study and they ask you to support, and companies and leaders, good leaders, would be knowledge, and they celebrate this rather than say, oh, you're not doing this because then you don't have time to do the work. Good leaders foster continuous learning of their people, of their teams.
Development of everyone.
Personal development. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I think that you expect to give you some practical examples. And an example that I can give you is in a company I had really to turn completely the knowledge of one entire division from the division manager until the last worker. And the story, I think that you know part of the story indirectly, because the story started almost 20 years ago. I arrived in a company that was in bankruptcy, but was the leading company for the Messina Bridge 20 years ago. And we were involved in designing and preparing the cable system and the hangars and all the suspension system. And we developed a wire following the specification, a wire that was absolutely never produced in the history. Was if you know the specification, but it's almost 4 kilometers, single wire without any welding, with a very strong other technical characteristic. But well, everybody knows the story of Messina Bridge, at least the past story. I decided to cut because I had to cut cost, and simply I communicated to the government, the Italian government, and to the main contractor. Well, we're out of the business. Okay, you can imagine the pressure on that. But I went out and I cut the cost. But then I had this product that was totally useless, because who need a wire of 4 kilometers? And we have spent millions in developing this product. So we were thinking about the possible application, and we thought that in an offshore business, The drilling, the deep water at that time was around 1,000 meters. So we could assemble the wire in a rope, and we could produce rope for more than 3 kilometers. But then there was no machinery able to produce that, and there was no factory able to produce that, because then you produce a product which is 500 tons in one piece. So no road, no gate, no tunnel, no bridge can support such kind of... So we created a team, and we designed the machinery together with several designers in Europe. We split the machine in 5 different factories, and we assembled it, and we plan to assemble the machine in one new factory. And the factory that we identify after looking around Mediterranean Sea is in Trieste. And probably you have seen Redaelli, it's a plant in the harbor. And so I had the factory, I had the machine, I didn't have people. So I forced an entire division to move from the engineering and real estate application to offshore. And in 6 months we succeed. We assembled the machine in Trieste, and for 5 years we were not leader worldwide. We were the monopolist in the world. Unfortunately, I made a mistake. I didn't pay enough the R&D director, so after 5 years, a competitor gave him a lot of money, and now there is another competitor, but still Trieste is the leader in the world.
Story. That's another story. Thank you.
So, of course, continuous learning, I think, is what you depend on for an innovation. And what comes to my mind here in Venice is, like, you're walking in the street and you don't want to get lost, and you follow the Rialto and San Marco signs, but it's very crowded and you get all the touristy shops. If you take one to the left or one to the right and you go in the little alleys, that's where the interesting stuff happens. And I think this is also valid in companies. You need to have a little bit of courage to kind of not be in the mainstream all the time and look on the side, look outside. And to me, this is where a lot of the learning comes for me, but also for the people who work with me, around me. And I think the other thing that you need to have courage, that is very hard to do, is to put together people who don't normally work together. Maybe they don't even like each other very much because they don't value necessarily what the others do. And then you try and make them work together. So I've done that a lot of times. Even here, I put together architects who were very traditional with designers and social entrepreneurs, people who don't normally are not used to being in the same room. But if you manage to do that, that's, I think, where the magic happens and the learning happens, and you create something really different and valuable. So to me, this has been a little bit my learning on the job, that you need that courage to kind of take the side street and put together people who normally wouldn't work together. And that's, I guess that's also your example. And then something beautiful happens.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I will give the mic to Professor Pilotto for the question, and then we will go for the break. What time should be back? Okay. What time we should be back after the break?
4 and 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay. At 4:30.
20.
Ah, okay. 4:20. Okay.
4:20. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everyone, and thank you very much for this interesting panel. I'm Stefano Pilotto. I work at MIB Trieste School of Management. I have a question for our friend Alessandra, because she said something very interesting. She said we have to lead the change, and therefore we have to integrate. Yes, we have to integrate, Alessandra, but as you know, sometimes we have some resistances in front. Let's see what's going on at a larger level, for instance, at the European Union level. Since 1950, we started a long integration process. Nowadays, we are 27 countries, but nowadays there are obstacles on that. And which is the main obstacle? I would say the word identity. Identity represents a resistance. So how would you extend this at the corporate level? Because of course you need to integrate, but very often you need to take care about the individual skills, which means to take care about the identities. What do you think about?
very good question. And to foster, people working together, different people, as you said, the identities are very important. As I said at the beginning, uniqueness. I don't like the word diversity, I prefer the word uniqueness. And the most important thing is listening, is valuing the differences, the different background, identities, point of view, and perspectives that different people bring to the organization. So listening to them, communicating, being open, leaving open channels of communication between people. And having the most important for an organization maybe is easier than from the European Union, and to align teams and people to the same objectives and strategies of an organization, to be aligned. And to be aligned to the strategy, communication is the most important thing. So meetings, weekly meetings, sharing knowledge, and working together, breaking down silos, and foster this brings innovation in the companies, and diversity and inclusion, as Emma Ursic was saying now, make the magic happen. Seeing different people from different backgrounds, more traditional backgrounds and more innovative, more social entrepreneurs, for instance, with architects. They have a completely different background, completely different view on some problems, different approaches, but forcing them to work together. At the beginning, maybe you have to force, because it doesn't come naturally to work together. But then putting them together and leading by examples. So the leaders should be the first to be open to communicate and to accept mistakes and accept failures. Because this is also very important in the culture of a company, when we want to accept the others. We want to accept minorities, different groups of people. So being able also to accept and to create a safety, a psychological safety environment where people can express their different opinions. There is a respectful atmosphere, environment.
That's what I was thinking of. So maybe one word that is not, I don't know why, but it's not really widely used in business, but it's very important to me, it's respect.
Respect.
And this is something that sometimes, in many times, we do not consider, but it's basically the base of what we are talking about in half an hour now. That respect, it's the basis for respect the other, it's the base of diversity, uniqueness, inclusion, and integration.
Respect between human beings is the base for trust. Because if you don't respect me, I will never trust you. And trust is the foundation of a winning culture and then an innovative company that look at the future.
Okay, thank you everyone. So we'll go for a coffee now. We'll be back at 4:20 here. And thank you to our special guests here. Thank you so much. See you 4:20 here.
questo punto lo accendono loro. È acceso? Ok, adesso è acceso. Accendere tutte e due. Esagoni, esagoni. Bene, bene. Facciamo un'inversione perché Ernesto come me oggi ha avuto un taste. Facciamo l'assemblea prima adesso. Flessibilità, versatilità propria del mondo dell'innovazione. Aspettiamo che prendano posto tutti. Forse dobbiamo andare avanti di qualche... qui si vede tutta la presentazione però sulla... Non c'è un modo di andare a leggere. No. Chiedo alla Vale. Non spoiler. No, 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 sono di Ernesto. So please have a seat, we are starting. Okay, so let's start again. And we will wait the others to join us as soon as possible. So, what an exceptional moment this has been and continues to be, and how wonderful is spend it together, both in present and online. So, I want to begin thanking you all for your participation here and in the moments leading us to this reunion. I'm Laura Princi, I'm president of Mibers Alumni Association. As we were talking about complexity, me and Ernesto Ciorra had some taste of the extraordinary and some taste of complexity. So Ernesto is supposing to come in 15 minutes. So we decide to use this time to go into our alumni assembly, and after Ernesto will join us. So it's a pleasure to now open the first assembly with the new board that you can find here, most of them. In addition to being an annual statutory moment of sharing, the objective of this assembly this year for this board that was elected 11 months ago is twofold. On one hand, we want to provide you of some of insights and the path that the board has taken over this year. But we want also, on the other hand, and I would say most of all, above all, the goal is to offer you a framework in which you all can participate. Because the strength of our community lies in the multiplying effect of what we can do together. So we need you as board, we need you as alumni of this community. So, therefore, a large portion of these 40 minutes that we have together will be spent in what we have done in these 11 months, but especially in what we want to do in the next 2 years and what we want to do with you all. So let's start from the beginning. This is the board. So the first action that we undertake this year was, as we used to say in our MBAs or origini, forming, storming, norming, and performing. So we have created a cohesive team with direction and strategy to navigate through this 3-year mandate. We are 12 people, as you can see, that apart from some connection, very light between each other, don't know each other. So it was important to come together, establish a functioning methodology, and define internal roles. That I feel it's important that I introduce to you because it's a part of our mechanism of functioning so that you can really work with us. So, Matteo and Caterina, Matteo was the moderator of the panel before, and I really thank him to take my role in this reunion. And Caterina, our two vice president. Carlo Nicolò is the treasurer. Maria Velia is the general secretary. Clara, Pilar, and Gisela are in charge of promotion and communication. Nicoletta handles knowledge, and Valentina oversees benchmarking and charity activities. Georgiana and Daniele take care of networking and social activities. This is so important for us because this is not role that, apart from some of these roles, were present. So we decide to establish them. On second Monday of each month, we join together online. So if you have proposals, comments, ideas, we will be happy to put them into the agenda. For us, it's very important. Remember, vision, participation, call to action. So I'll take other 3 minutes to go through the agenda, starting from our strategy and purpose, and then the others will be explaining you these other fields that we are trying to work on. So, okay. We start, as I said, creating the team, but the second action happening currently with the first of building the group has been a process of understanding and at the same time elaborating. So we have reviewed the data on participation of the previous reunion meetings, everything. Design and conduct a survey for the community, we will see after. Explore the criteria used in the Financial Times rankings for the business school, benchmarked, discussed with the school management, especially Professor Tracogna, Nanut, and Venier, and focused attention on these three key points: reactivation of the Alumni Association, growth of the alumni engagement, and support the school positioning, as Professor Tracogna was saying before. So, this is what we are currently focusing on. Sharing knowledge within our community, but also through engagement with other business schools. I was in contact this week with other two persons from other business schools, and I am currently in Politecnico di Milano, so I used to connect with this business school, so we are trying to understand what we can do together. You can see this reflected in this reunion, in the Mib talks, in the events, even online that we want to start, and in our interaction with the communities from other business schools, as I was previously saying. Alumni network and activation and growth. So, for example, we made up this survey, but it's something that we want to do really often, to check your ideas, but also to check what's really important for you in order to develop events like this that come from your desire and ideas. So we want really translating them into action and tools to support them, also fostering communication among all us. So take this moment, and especially this evening, to really connect between you all and with us. We are all part of the same community, and we are serving now in this special Alumni Association board. The other point that for us is really important, but it's quite new, and we have no track record in the Mib Alumni Association, is support alumni. In collaboration with the school, we would like to activate peer exchange moments that can be helpful during, for example, career repositioning, job searching, or professional growth. This is really important for us, and we have tried to start with a collaboration with We Hunt and W Executive that maybe many of you can know, because there was the point of two major events in Milano and in Vicenza. And additionally, we want to focus on giving back of the community and the society, which is something that the school is really focused on. So we were discussing with Professor Nanut about some initiatives to put into practice to help others. Now it's time to break this issue into its components, so I would leave the floor to Valentina to introduce you the surveys.
Thank you, Laura, and good afternoon to everybody. I'm happy and quite emotional to be here. So I will present to you some information. First of all, why we published a survey. We want to explore, as Matteo told to you in the panel, we want to explore which are the interests of the community. We want to involve the community, a call to action, all the community to talk about what are the main interests, what the community knows. We want just to look inside our community and better know which is the know-how of us. So if we know who we are, we can shape initiative, tailor activities in order to be more interesting for all the community. So we published this survey for 1.5 months, and here just few results. The two boxes represent on the left side the topics that are more selected for the community. where we have a competence and where we want to be, for instance, a speaker for webinar or MIB talks. On the right side, we have another result that represents the main topic that are interesting for future reunion. So there are artificial intelligence, leadership, and so on. What we can do next with this survey, that survey has been really, really important for us to know ourselves, our community. What's next? In every year, the community grows because there are new graduated. So we would like to, in the future, publish other survey in order to understand better who we are and shape new initiatives in order to be more in line with the community ideas. Another, I think, side of the same medal is not only looking to ourselves, because we are a business school that compete in some way with other schools in Europe, in Italy, in the international context. So we think that it's important also to see outside what other alumni associations do to nurture, to grow their community. We started an analysis that is an analysis just to take some inspiration of what the other community does. So we examined a little set of school, because it's not important to see all the school in the world, and we select some Italian and in European school. Then we use some driver just to normalize data, because every single association of the school have different sizes, different number of alumni, different number of active volunteers. And we discover, in the next slide, many activities that the community does. There are 4 boxes, one for each, let me say, stream of activities. For the networking, there are, from other school, topic and regional chapter or club. Other schools do some travel together, or cultural activities or sport. There are some social activities about webinar, podcast, newsletter. There are a lot of activities that can be inspired ourselves. Some of them are already in our agenda. With the MIB Talks, we have a regional chapter where we talk about a topic and then we have a nice time together. But all these activities, other activities, are in our agenda for the future. But the benchmark or inspiration, that is more an interesting word, an inspirational word is better than a benchmark, that is quite cold. This kind of analysis give us the opportunity to pick up, to have some ideas of what we can do in the future. Of course, as Laura said just a few minutes ago, it's important that all the community, if have some ideas, just talk to us, let us know if there is something that could be done for the community. What we can do in the future, benchmarking, inspiration is something that should be continuous, repeated in the future, because other new ideas can come up, and so we can have a new inspiration for other initiatives. Then I leave this stage to Maria Velia, that we talk about the MIB Talks.
Hi everyone. So I will talk a bit about one of our goals, that was to create a solid network of professionals, and to do so, and share, of course, experience and increase the knowledge. So to do so, we have redesigned network activity that we call the MIB Alumni Talks. So what are the MIB Alumni Talks? They are a networking event made in different cities based on specific topics that engage experts to discuss about the topics or to make a round table. Of course, at the end of the discussion, at the end of the round table, we usually organize an aperitif or a dinner to continue and strengthen the networking feeling, connection. This is not only a moment to gather together, but really to bring home something more, so a knowledge more, a connection more, and eventually also to start collaborations, as for example it happens after the event we organized in Vicenza, where there were different guests talking about leadership, if I'm right. And among the guests there was We Hunt, which is a hunting company, so a hunter company, and the Mibers school was able to start a collaboration with them, and now there is available a job replacement executive course. So we think that networking, it's not just gathering together, but also get on something more than just the feeling of gathering together. What we did so far, actually in 3 months, since we started to deploy our plan of MIB Alumni Talks, were 6 events. 6 events that gather more than 150 persons, mainly MIB alumni, but also friends and or other persons not directly involved with the school. We did it in Milan, in Pordenone, in Treviso, and in Vicenza. We talked about different topics that were actually that are linked to what you express in the surveys as being the topics you are interested in. And of course, we still are performing the normal, let's say, aperitif. So there was an aperitif in Zurich and an aperitif in Naples. We want to continue with this format because it's well appreciated, and we think it gives value to the community. And we are planning to have other 3 to 4 events by the end of this year. And of course, we want to do more next year, expanding the local activity to other cities. And here, of course, we need also your input, because if you want to help us to organize MIB Alumni Talk in other cities, you are welcome, as well as if you want to share your experience as a speaker during this event, just raise the hands and talk with any one of us in the border. Another big event that engages us a lot, it's this event, so the Alumni Reunion. Again, here we wanted to give something new. And of course, as you can see, we are in a new location, fantastic Venice. We wanted the reunion to be meaningful, so we select one of the topics you mentioned to be the most important for you, and we try to create an agenda that is meaningful, and we hope you enjoyed, and of course we are open to receive your feedback on that. And we don't want to forget the entertainment. So this evening there will be the social dinner. Tomorrow there are other activities, so you can either visiting the Human Safety Net show, or to have the winding tour around Venice. We are very proud, so as you see there are still some XXX because the presentation was done in advance compared to the event of today, and actually we are here today more than 200 persons, so big thank you for everyone joining. We are very proud, and we really want to see and to hear your feedback. Different cities, different nationalities are involved, and the most, let's say, we are already looking to the next, which is next year. Next year, it's the 25th anniversary of the MIB Alumni Association, so it's a very important appointment. And we will start after today thinking about how to make it special. And we will be happy to have other person outside of the board of director that would like to help us to make it remarkable, okay? And I think I hand to, thank you.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, I want to spend just a couple of minutes to explain you what was our main goal of this new council. So, it's the reactivation of the ambassador community. As you know, and probably we have some of you here, maybe it's also interesting to see who of you is coming from another country. Raise your hands. Okay, so you are many. So we need to reactivate our ambassador community. So I don't know if you know who is an ambassador for us, for our alumni association, but it's one that is somehow trying to keep the community alive also abroad, and even in Italy, why not? So what we want to do is reactivating this community of ambassador, and if you want to be one of them, you can always contact us. We are always available for you. So what we have done till now is reactivating the community, trying to organize several different calls during this year, more or less. It's 11 months, let's consider 1 year, and share with you the database that we have created with all the contacts and information related to the alumni community. And this is very important for us because we want to continue with this MIB spirit, the famous spirit, so in the sense of spreading the voice around, trying to keep each other in contact, help the people that is starting a new adventure abroad, for example, starting an adventure in a new city in Italy, changing complete this place. It's always difficult. I'm talking for me, for example, that I change country. So this is an important point of our community, and we want to keep really alive the association, also trying to connect people that maybe is not in touch anymore with the course that has participated and so on. So if you want, you can always contact us. You can contact the association. I don't know if, for example, you know that in your country there is not any contact with a local community of Mibers. You can always try to connect through us, and we will try to find the right person in the country. For the rest, I really thank you for the present here and for all the ambassadors around the world. Thank you so much.
So good evening, everybody. So I'm so happy to be here with you and see so many faces, new faces, old faces. So it's really a great pleasure, and I'm so honored to be here on this stage. So first of all, we are speaking about graduation days, which I think is the most important part of all of us, because we have all been there. Actually, for myself, and I think I have two of my colleagues here from the MBA 18, Cristiano from Brazil and Lisa from China. So I'm from Romania, so we are three guys from different countries. Yesterday we celebrated 16 years from our graduation day, so it's wow, it's quite a long time, and I'm so emotional now. So I would like also to express our gratitude, and I'm speaking on behalf of the board, to the school staff, because they are inviting actually us to participate in all the graduation days that are organized. So actually we had last year, so this last academic year, 2023-2024, we had 5 graduation days, and I will show you later on the next slide some of the pictures that we've been there. So these events represent for us, for the Governing Council, great opportunities not only to address a warm welcome to the freshly new graduates, so the new alumni, but also to introduce our association to a larger audience, like today, for example. So we have these great opportunities to promote the school, the association, and the community, alumni community, to strengthen the importance of being part of a network, a strong and global network like MIB Alumni Association. And last but not least, to engage the alumni in all the activities organized by the board. And for sure, you have to stay tuned, and you will see that we will organize also in the next years. And speaking about next steps, we strongly confirm here our commitment to the school and to the alumni that will participate actively in all graduation days that will be organized also in the following months and years. With, of course, the main goal is that's to grow more and more our network and increase the alumni, so your engagement actually, because we are all alumni. So what else? We look forward to meeting all the new alumni in the following months, so the newcomers, but also to meet you. And I will just leave the floor with these pictures. So some of us were actually present in Palazzo Ferdinandeo, some were connecting online. So these are our participation this last 9 months. So thank you, and I will leave the floor to Nicoletta. Thank you.
Okay, so hello all. So I'm guide you through another activation instrument that we use this year. You notice, I think, that our LinkedIn page has been very active. So this year we decided to post several LinkedIn posts shared on international days or alumni related topics. This because we wanted to strengthen and foster discussion in order to inform our community also on giving this responsible approach, considering the topic that we touched. Then also, of course, promote your engagement, the engagement of the community, so strengthen the connection and the relationship with you, and of course share knowledge. That is one of our main direction that you saw also in our purpose. Of course, we would like to continue on this way. These are some examples of posts that we did this year. As you can see, some on charitable initiatives, some are aimed at supporting our MIB alumni business, for example, and other on international days. As you can see from the data, the number of organic impressions are really higher versus the average, and this, of course, for us has been, let's say, a measurement of success. Another instrument that we use to reactivate our community is the President Letter. So President Letters means these regularly updates to the community around achievement, promoting, of course, unity and action. And especially in the end of the year message of the President, we were at the beginning, let's say, so the President emphasized the commitment of the new MIB board, and then, of course, also promote and, let's say, emphasize also the need of involvement of the community in order to make our, of course, alumni community more and more, let's say, committed. So through the President Letter, we would like to share the updates on the community news, inspire, so it is an instrument of inspiration, and encourage, of course, the participation and alumni engagement. We would like to reinforce this instrument because this is a valuable instrument to make you understand that you are really a valuable, let's say, asset for the continuation of our alumni community. So, now we saw which were the, let's say, activation that we ran this year. What's next? Of course, first, we would like to consolidate and leverage on what we did this year, but we have other ideas that we would like also to explore and investigate more. Some are related more to entertainment, so thematic clubs, sport, hobbies, communities, recreational events. Then, of course, we would like to investigate more on the ONG cooperation, merchandising, and even promote the alumnus of the month. So for all of these activities, of course, we would like also to promote your engagement. And as my colleagues said at the beginning and during all of our speech, we would like also to receive your input, your ideas that we can use, of course, to leverage and reinforce our community. Another important thing is the consolidation of the MIB talk. This is, as Maria Velia explained, a very important format that we structured this year, and we would like to, let's say, nurture and reinforce this talk by promoting even the online format to allow people that cannot join in person, of course, to benefit of this interesting talk. So this was, let's say, the last slide from my side. I will give the floor back to Laura, our president. Thank you.
So, thank you so much. Okay, there are questions. Have you got some questions that you want to share with us? Okay, there is one over there. Maybe we can bring. Okay.
Thank you, Stefano. Thank you, everybody. I wanted to ask you, do you have an ambassador in the United States?
Yes, we have. And I was thinking that he was here, but we can get you in contact.
Thank
of
you.
course, we have to check which part of the United States.
Right.
But if we don't have him in the area, you can candidate to be the one.
Okay. I mean, thank you. I mean,
I have already said it's a matter of participation. This community grows if we have your participation. So,
thank you.
and the board is really keen on having ideas and share things with you also. Okay. This is a really open board with a really open activity to do all over the world.
Just in case, I'm in the great state of Texas, in the city of Dallas.
I think you can manage the position.
Okay, thank you.
So this, as you saw in the panel, we are dealing with the complexity, but we are also dealing to replace and finding a new job here. So you can be the one. Yeah, maybe Stefano wants to say something.
I just would like to say that we have some MIB clubs spread all over the world. There was also a person in New York, Mark Lupinacci, who was a student also of our MBA, who is a referent for the United States, as we have in many other countries. Laura, we gave you all the contacts of the coordinator at the local level. We have from Asia to Europe, Africa, and America. We do not have it yet in Australia, but we have a group of former students in Australia, and so we have a nice network of the Alumni Association.
Yeah, and this year the first thing that the board has made is having this contact and make them possible to go through all around people that want to connect each other. So, okay, we have it, we can use it, so please.
Yes, I would like to underline that online on MIB website, in the MIB experience area, you are finding exactly all the names and their contacts are all published online. So simply visit that area. It is in the MIB experience. I cannot show you now because there is no Wi-Fi connection here inside, but it is in the MIB experience area of our website.
So I don't know if there are other questions. Otherwise, we are together tonight, so we can exchange more questions in the evening. So before leaving the floor to to Ernesto Chora, that joined us, I want to say other three things. First of all, I would really thank MIB staff, and especially Valentina Savino, because you cannot see how can she turn the impossible possible. And I think she is very representative of MIB spirit. So thank you to Valentina, to the MIB staff, and we are really in a dialogue, an open dialogue with the school, especially Professor Tarcogna, Venier, Nanut, and we can count on the support of Stefano Pilotto. After, I will give him the floor, because he is a greater support and a very energetic supporter of this organization. But I want to remember some appointments. So tonight we have the social dinner at Baccaro, so maybe we can go together. But if you want to do other things and then join us, please let us know and we will give you all the information. Then tomorrow we have two initiatives. Wine in Venice, and if you have a question, you can ask Georgiana. So Georgiana is ready to answer to everything related to the point and even more. And we have also a World of Potential that is a partnership with Generali. We were able to be hosted in this place. We have already said a marvelous place, but this is also the venue of the foundation, the Human Safety Net. And so the World of Potential is their exhibition. So for us, it's possible to visit and Valentina has the cards. So if you want to go tomorrow, it's open. Well, now it's time to leave the floor to Stefano Pilotto for, as you want, as you prefer. After. So now it's time to leave the floor to Ernesto Chora, an expert in innovation related to sustainability, but above all, for those who work in the innovation sector, as myself, a pioneer who changed completely the way in which Italy looks at innovation and open innovation matter. So I'm very glad to have him here, because Ernesto is much more of an expert in innovation and sustainability, and is the concrete demonstration that versatility, flexibility, knowledge of fields like art, philosophy means a lot, even in business, and that it's possible to connect that point and give a good result even to the company. So Ernesto, the floor is yours. We have to go back.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you to the lady Valentina who makes possible what is impossible. Ok, no, aspetta, no, ok, vabbè, ok, facciamo così. We need to go back. Ok. Ok. First time that I do this. Okay. Hi, everybody. I hope you are enjoying this day. It's an opportunity for you to join this event. So, life is too short, so we need to start with a smile. All together, let's make a smile. This is a smile, but this is an opportunity to say, to be grateful to the life, but it's also an opportunity to innovate, because if you don't smile, if you're not happy, if you're not passionate, you cannot innovate. Because innovators usually find people who hate innovators, people who are scared, so they attack you. It's normal. They attack you till the innovation will become popular, and after they will say, you are not an innovator, you say something that is common. This is normal. It happened to me several times. one of the inventions that I personally invented comes from the fact that I'm definitely much stupid, more stupid than, not that you are smart, but then the stupid people you understand, you know. I give you an example. I always lose myself, even in Fregene. Fregene is with just cardodecumano way. It's impossible to lose yourself. I lose myself. That's why I've invented the first GPS in a mobile phone. I was supported as global CEO of Nokia in Finland at Espoo. Is there any Finnish here? No. Raise the hand? No. Okay, I was in Espoo. I was losing myself, as it always happened, and I proposed to put a mobile phone to a GPS system, navigation system in a mobile phone. At that time, there was not the GPS receiver in a mobile phone, so we combined an external antenna connecting through Bluetooth, and we used the maps provided by TomTom with a SD card, because there wasn't the connection. You couldn't surf the web with the mobile phone. We were in 2003. What happened? They told me, oh, you are stupid. This is useless. Who could use it? We have in our car. I say, okay, you have in your car, but when I go to Finland, I have not my car with me, and I lose myself. Okay, just for you? No, for other people like me. I had to convince them. They tried. We launched as a sample, as a market test in Italy. It was a great success. For 3 years, Nokia was the only mobile phone producer having a GPS inside. This is one of the innovations that I invented. I will talk you about other ones after. I have been working in innovation for more or less 30 years, and many times they say to me that I was stupid, that I was ignorant. I give you another example. I had a stupid idea, very stupid. Italy was one of the worst countries for the broadband diffusion in Europe. Okay, just Greece was worse than us. And I had a stupid idea. Why don't we use the poles, the electric poles, and the electric pipelines, put another cable on the electric cable, providing fiber optics and access, so ultra broadband access. It was a stupid idea, not technology, just using the same poles and the same pipelines, and we could save more or less 18 billion to provide ultra broadband access to more or less 15 million of people, and we created open fiber that we sold after 5 years, generating 1.8 billion of capital gain with the 50%. When I proposed this idea, people were saying to me, you don't know anything about electricity. I say, I agree with you. And they were saying, you don't know anything about telco. I say, no, you are wrong, because I had a long experience in telcos and with a long track of innovations. But at the end, we created the company because the CEO was supporting me, and we have sold 50% of the company, creating 1.8 billion of capital gain in 5 years. So people, the innovators, are usually attacked by the other ones. This is normal. That's why I invited you to smile. Because if you are not positive, you are not enthusiastic, you will never be an innovator, unfortunately. I have invented this concept. This is just a concept that is studied by many universities around the world, more or less 500. Innovability. It's innovation aimed at creating a better world, a more sustainable world. It could be just a theoretical concept, but I will demonstrate that it's something concrete. I will start with a real example. Every 2 hours, how many hours have you spent here today? 5, 6? Less? 4? In 4 hours, you have changed 2 times the whole skin of your lips. 2 times. And the dust that is around us is made by skin. Because continuously, you change your body skin. Every 20 days, you change 100% of your body skin. And every 4 years, you change the whole liver. And every 15 years, you change the 99.9% of your entire body. If you are 30 years old, you are dead. And you are grown, you are born again at least a couple of times. Because even the bones, even the heart, and even the brain, Just a small percentage of the brain, the internal cortex, and a small percentage of the heart remains the same. But you kill every second yourself to survive. This is what ancient Greeks called apoptosis, a continual renovation of the body. You kill yourself to survive. The same concept should companies do. They must continuously change themselves to survive. Why? Markets change, technologies change, customer needs change. Try to think about the world 10 years ago. When I invented the GPS in a mobile phone, mobile phones couldn't be used to surf the web. Just 20 years ago. Today, it's normal for you to surf the web using a mobile phone. You couldn't survive. Even you couldn't live without surfing the web. And 20 years ago, it was not possible. So technologies change, markets change, customer needs change, but companies are programmed for change. What do you think? They should. But if you had, not for me, but if you had to change just the cut of your hair, are you scared? Who said no? No? No, for you it's, I can ask the other ones. Are you scared? Changing the cut of the, and the color of the hair? No? Great. Probably you are open to the change, but many people are scared, even by this simple decision. Me too, me too. I continuously change the color of the hair from transparent to nothing. But this is something that creates fear. People are scared by the change. But companies are not ready for change, unfortunately, because people in companies, they don't want the change. They don't like the change. They like diverse people when they work in another company, for another company. Oh, it's diverse, it's nice, but it should be stay far from me. And they like innovators when they don't bother them. You have to change the process you are managing things. Oh, I don't like. People are scared. But unfortunately, if companies don't change, they cannot survive. Because if the world is changing, how can companies survive without changing? So innovability is this one. Innovation aimed at the survival. And the survival is the aim of sustainability. Why companies should be sustainable? To survive. So innovation is the tool and sustainability, survival is the aim. Can we do it alone? Can we change as a company without other people, other partners, other providers, startups, universities? Can we do it? You say no. Why? Your name is? No, yours. No, don't do this. Yours. We need other people. But why? For the competence. Competence is something that you could need. But imagine you are the best company in the world for your competencies. What do you need from other people? Your name is? Andrea said you need competencies. It's true, but don't you know? Leonardo said you need different perspectives. Both are right. Because unfortunately, even if you are the best ones, you don't have the best ones, so I agree with you. But you need different perspectives because more competent you are, less ability to change the status quo you have. I'm going to demonstrate it with a very fast game. Please say loud. We are going to play, yeah? Please say loud. What is the result? 1,000 plus 40. Say loud. And now? 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 You say 5,000, 5,000. Who say 5,000? Please raise the hand. I say 5,000. Huh? Don't be shy. Don't do like Dr. Strangelove. 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. 5,000. People are doing this. Oh, great. She has very high. And So many people say 5,000, and you are graduated from MIB. So it's incredible because this is a very, you say 5,000. Yeah, but why you say 5,000? Because unfortunately the correct result is adding 4 times 1,000 is 4,000, and 40, 30, 90, 100, it makes 4,100. But you say 5,000. Many of you say 5,000. I made this game many times. When I did the last time with Professor, come si chiama? Sei Cappelli? Mi scordo subito. Vabbè. With De Bono, with Edward De Bono, who lived here. He had a house here in Venice. I say 5,000. When I make this game with many famous professors, Professor San Giovanni Vincentelli from Berkeley, he founded 3 companies quoted at the stock market, and he say 5,000. He's professor of engineering. And he made a wrong calculation that the 7-year-old guy couldn't miss. He would say, or she would say, the correct result. Because a 7-year-old does it very slowly. And he or she will make the right calculation. We are wrong. Why? Fast thinking way, less expensive for the brain. Yes, we choose the easy situation when we make calculation, not following the math rules, but following the dominant rule. What is the dominant rule? Add 1,000, add 1,000, add 1,000, add 1,000. I ask 4 times your brain to follow a dominant rule, and in 10 seconds, I act 20 years of mathematics, 25 years of mathematics that you studied. So you have forgotten 25 years of mathematics just being prisoner of an hacking fucking rule that I put in your brain. I act your brain in 10 seconds. What can your companies do with your brain? Being for years in a company with the right competencies, knowing that you must do this, 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 and this. You mustn't do this, 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 and this, till someone comes in the sector and create a disruption. That's why more competent you are, less innovator you are. That's why you need people outside, from outside the company, to provide you with different perspectives, different rules, not having the brains hacked by the dominant rules. The rule in financial sector is you must ask for interest rate. You must check the reliability of the customer till a Nobel Prize comes and provides more credits to people without checking the reliability of the customers and create a different business model. The rule is you need to buy buildings to have a hotel management, to manage hotels, till Airbnb provides rooms without buying hotels and hiring people. I can provide you with different examples. Unfortunately, the dominant rules kill our ability to innovate. Humans change to survive, but companies are ready to listen to strange people. What do you think? The start-uppers, even the professors, and even the innovators, they say a lot of uncommon things. Are companies ready? They should. Who said they should? I like, because you said before too. You are fully right. They should. But unfortunately, they don't. I give you a concrete example of my past experience. Would you lend money to these guys? Look at them. No, it's incredible, but they look like people after LSD party. No, look at the eyes of those people. And this is Steve Jobs. Bill Gates. Okay, this is the real tech genius, the inventor of DOS, and the team of Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, Access. But you wouldn't lend your money to these guys, because unfortunately companies are not ready to listen to strange people. Look at this. They look like after night fever Saturday Night Fever movie, no? And you would take care about your bag if you are a woman, if this guy is close to you. And unfortunately, he is Steve Wozniak, the other one was Steve Jobs. I will share with you a story. I was working with Nokia when we invented the first mobile phone without buttons. I personally managed a brainstorming with women, many women. The majority of them were women, and I used creativity techniques. Tell me the best moment of your life. And all the women were saying when the baby came out. And they were pampering, caressing. They were doing this to pamper the baby. And I say, okay, let's do this experience. Let's duplicate this experience with a mobile phone. We were writing why it was impossible, because first of all, the mobile phone is dead. Something that comes out from me is living. The second was the mobile phone are all of them the same ones. Every baby is different. So we start thinking about personalization of mobile phones. The backgrounds and all the covers and the other stuff. More or less, after we say the experience with the baby is very gentle, is soft. When you caress him, the skin is very, very soft. When you touch a mobile phone, the experience is tough and rough. Many buttons. So the idea was, let's eliminate the buttons. We launched the first mobile phone without buttons. I personally supported this. It was a great failure. Nobody wanted it. It was big, no buttons, many icons. Nobody wanted it. So the CEO called me. Okay, you supported this. It's a disaster. The unique mobile phone that is not running. I personally very proud of that failure. And but it was the first smartphone in the history. And I said, you have to find the solution. So we had 3 ideas with other brainstorming. First of all, let's transform this into a portable game station. We were working with Mario Tokoro from Sony Labs to launch the portable PlayStation. But Nokia said, we are Nokia, we don't need them. We will launch our own portable game station. It was Engage, a disaster. I said, no, let's make with the external people, with Sony. They didn't want. The second idea was, let's make a navigation system. It was a great success. In fact, they were able to sell all the unsold mobile phones in Europe, just selling them in Italy as a mobile phone with the GPS inside. The third idea was, let's transform it into a portable jukebox. And we found a company that was very bad in terms of financial reports that launched iPod 3 years before. The company was Apple. That's why we were working on creating a new operating system, and I personally worked with Steve Jobs and other 4 people in Cupertino for 7 months to define a new operating system for Nokia. And I have at home the agreement signed by Steve Jobs. According to this agreement, for 20 years, Apple couldn't sell any mobile phone, but they had just to provide for free the operating system to Nokia, for free. But they could launch together a portal in which, in this portal, some software makers could share software, 40% of revenues to Apple, 30% to Nokia, 30% to the other external partners. This is the agreement that I have at home. I went with this agreement signed by Steve Jobs to the CEO of Nokia, already approved by the legal department, the marketing department, and Pekka Olli-Kalasvuo, CEO of Nokia, said, what can I do with this corporate zombie that I can't do alone? Apple for them was a corporate zombie. It was very close to die, and they were not successful. They were not producing any mobile phone. We were in 2003. So they didn't follow them. They didn't say, we need them. So I went back. Steve Jobs didn't want to receive me, but I found the general counsel who said to me, Steve says that it was the last chance for Nokia to survive. And I say, it's crazy. They have the 72% of global market share, 72%. They will survive. But the reality was that after 4 years, they launched iPhone, After 5 years, Nokia has been sold to Microsoft, and after 6 years, they have closed the company. And it was the global leader. So, if you are not open enough to accept that even strange people can help you, they can kill you. This is the problem. It was a failure that I'm sharing with you. No? I was not able to convince them, but if you know the Finnish history, you know that they have been attacked by the Russian, the Swedish, the Danish, the English, so they don't trust anybody else, unfortunately. The cultural roots didn't allow them to be open. In Italy, we have been not attacked, but invaded. we hadn't even the state, so we are more open. But, okay, innovability managers, managing innovation and sustainability, they are everywhere. You cannot create an isolated area. You have to involve them everywhere in the whole company, but they cannot manage the innovation and the sustainability alone. They need startups, industrial partners, the financial community, suppliers, customers, learning from customers a lot, getting their voices, colleagues that can provide idea. Even if they don't work in marketing, they can provide idea on marketing. Even if they don't work in financial services, they can provide idea in the financial innovation institutions and universities. They are part of a big ecosystem. I give you real figures of the ecosystem that I managed when I was at Enel, but before talking about the results, concrete results. Do you know Enel? Who knows Enel? Raise the hand. Okay, what do you think, in how many countries we were working? Many, how many? You can say a figure, a number. Brazil is the third country. And how many countries? Enel? 9, you say 9? 15. More? More than 15? More than 15? Who said 20? 20? 23? More? Okay, when I was working at Enel, we were active in 32 countries. 32 countries. And who is the leader in renewable energies in the United States? Who is providing the largest amount of renewable energy to Meta, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft? Enel. You're right. Who is the leader in South Africa? Enel. Who made the largest renewable plant in Australia? Enel. Right. So, we were the largest producer of renewable energies in the world. And just to share with you some figures, 170 billion of revenues. 170 billion of revenues, 22.5 billion of EBITDA. So, some figures. We analyzed more than 90,000 proposals from inside and outside. We have activated more than 1,000 POCs, attempts to innovate. We have successfully implemented 400 POCs. And we have scaled up 200 projects, scaled up in more than 5 countries. So take a look. On one successful scale up, we had to analyze 100 proposals. 1 on 100 is successful. Hard work to be successful. You find many times, many cases that don't run, that don't fit with your needs. But you need to work, unfortunately. You have to try and fail, try and fail. If you are scared by failures, you cannot be an innovator. No? As Edison said, I never failed. I found many solutions that didn't run. He was right, because you need to try. And we measure all the generated value. How much money we generated in terms of incremental value, incremental EBITDA, compared with the euro that we spent. Just to share with you figures, we were spending more or less 150, 180. It was, it depended on the year. Every year, euros, million of euros. So in 9 years, we have spent more or less 107, 108 billion. So it's a big amount of money. But we generated 8 per. Considering all the projects that were not successful, we were able to create 8 times the value that we spent. And moreover, we don't consider in this the EBITDA and the capex and the capital gain generated by the companies that we created and sold. So Enel Open Fiber, 1.8 billion, it's more. Grispertise, other 500 million, sold to CVC, an international fund. And another company that is Trisan, that has not been sold, but the value of this company is more or less 1 billion. So I don't consider those figures, and we generated 8 times the value. How? Because we were looking for startups in Israel, even in Moscow, in Italy, in Spain, in the United States, in Chile, in Brazil with physical hubs, and we had digital hubs in Canada, England, Germany, France, and in South Africa, and in Australia. Digital hubs, it means that we were having continuously digital meetings with startups from those countries, having local representatives who put in contact us with those countries' startups. But in the other cases, we had physical hubs. And you can see some figures. So open the boundaries of the company to startups and open the boundaries of the companies to solvers. We had a website that is still active, openinnovability.com. You can surf, you can find challenges, technological and social challenges. More than 500,000 people joined this community from more than 100 countries. They submitted proposals, and we scaled up 69 solutions. Look at the effort, managing more than 8,000 proposals to scale up only 69 solutions. But I give you just an example. We asked MIT and many other important universities about one problem that we had, using soda in geothermal plants. Soda creates pollution, soda is expensive, but we had to use. So we wanted to substitute with something that was more sustainable and less expensive. The universities were working on this challenge for many years without any concrete solution. We shared this challenge, and a lady from Viterbo, a biologist who never visited any geothermal plant, she provided, as your colleague was saying before, a different perspective, using bacteria. And when she joined us and we gave her 25,000 euros, she was joking me. And she said, oh, I'm enthusiastic for this 25,000 euros because in a couple of hours I could earn 25 euros. And I am a doctor. I'm attending the doctorate at the university, and I can earn just 25,000 euros in a year. And in 2 hours, I could earn the same amount of money. And she was gently saying that I was stupid to provide her with so much money. But I shared with her, after that she signed, that she was giving us all the rights, all the intellectual property rights about this solution, that we were saving every year 26 million in terms of usage and cost of soda, and that we were saving many more million at the end of the process of the life of the geothermal plant, because we hadn't to remove pollution from the land. So, and bacteria were enriching the land instead of creating problems, environmental problems. So I have been studied innovators and creators and artists. I started this research when I was at the university, and the Dada, the Sturm und Drang, the Beatles, and the other ones inspired, and I learned a lot of lessons from them. The first one is freedom. If you want to allow people to be innovative, you must respect them. It's something that is natural, but unfortunately companies don't respect people for what they are. They want to have people like the companies are. But the innovators don't like this. They want to be themselves. And you need to allow them to change rules and killing paradigms. You know Genertel. Genertel was led by a great innovator, Leonardo Feliciano. They changed the paradigms of the insurance in Italy. But unfortunately, after some years, Generali was angry with them. They fired Feliciano. They changed, they led the revolution, but unfortunately, after they stepped back. It's normal. They had the incumbent business, the former business to be saved, to be secured. This is normal, but in fact, there is a professor, very famous professor from Harvard, Mike Tushman. He says that companies should be a little bit schizophrenic, having on a side the current business and on the other side the new business. And this is not easy. This is not easy because companies try to stop people who change rules and kill their paradigms. Kodak has invented a digital image. They have fired the inventor who led that project. And after they went to bankrupt due to the digital image. Creativity has a unique capability. People in Italy, creative people are often called stupid people in companies. When you say, oh, he's creative, it's like to say, unfortunately, he's cretino. I could say in Italian. Creative people identification. Creative people like to have other creative ones as the leaders. They don't like to have someone who is different. Or if they have someone who is different, this one should respect them. And reward people who bring new ideas. In companies, in many cases, if you have a new idea that is not linked with your specific job, your boss says, this is not your task, please, don't bother me. Okay? In Roma, we say no rompe. Okay, it's for strangers people. In Rome, we say you're not to bother me. Failure-tolerant leaders. If innovation needs failures, you need to be tolerant for failures and respect people and be delighted by friends becoming part of the team. These are some rules that are common in different cultures, colleagues from different countries, cultures, and contexts. Ancient Rome, with Ottaviano Augusto the emperor, people coming from all around. Ancient Athens, people coming from different countries. French Revolution, Chopin from Poland, with many other Polish painters, writers. They couldn't meet in Poland. They were meeting because they had the same cultural root in France, but they were mixing themselves. So it happened that some writers, like Rainer Maria Rilke, he left from Germany to become a sculptor. And he became a poet in France because he met many poets. So he changed. But having different countries, cultures, and perspectives is mandatory to create what we call creative laziness. That is not, it doesn't mean that you don't work. It means that you take your time to think different. Some geniuses that I studied. Do you know who is this guy? Have you seen Clockwork Orange, Odyssey 2001? Stanley Kubrick, in his kitchen. Pablo Picasso, French, Spanish, both. Ernest Hemingway, he changed the way of writing. Alda Merini and Benigni, they changed the literature and the way of also addressing the Holocaust in a different way, with a different perspective. This is the typical representation of the ancient school of Athens. And there is I ragazzi di Via Parisperna, the people who changed the physics. The Beatles changed the music. When the Beatles went to the producer, the first producer, very famous, Mecca, he said, nobody will take care about them. They are ignorant. They cannot have any success. It's normal. And all the Impressionists, where there was a hierarchy of the Impressionists, there was a boss. Who was the boss? What was the hierarchical form? No? There was not an hierarchical form. Gauguin, Monet, Sisley, Pissarro, Degas. The same way we were managing in emerging technologies. We had communities. No hierarchy, no bosses, no rules. There is a very famous quote from Rainer Maria Rilke. He lived in Trieste, that's why I quote him. He said, with lovers, there is no measuring. You cannot measure the love. No? We were leveraging the love of people for artificial intelligence community created 9 years ago. Everybody's talking about AI today. Artificial intelligence and sensors, drones, blockchain, wearables, robotics, quantum computing, hydrogen. We were asking people, we created more than 20 communities with no bosses. Everybody could join whenever they wanted and could leave whenever they wanted. During working time, they can spend time to work for the community. And we had just lists of participants because their bosses cannot bother them if they were working for the community. So we asked people, do you like this? You can join. Are you bothered? You can leave. And like the Impressionists, like the Sturm und Drang people, like the Lake District poets, managing themselves. And when I shared this idea with the head of HR, the lady was scared. She told me, okay, she said, well, how can we manage this? How can I write? I need a hierarchical map. No, I said, no maps. Or you can put all of them on a horizontal way. Because they will choose the leaders, like the Impressionists were doing. And many universities studied this case because the 68% of the successful scale-ups came from this organization. 68%. So the traditional organization is dead. Because there were people on different levels of the hierarchy. You can imagine, in the AI community, there was Antonello Camisegra, global head of electric grids, manager number 2 of the company, with some workers that were fixing the poles, the electric poles on the streets, in the same community, discussing all together with no hierarchy, and in many cases the workers were right. And also the big managers had to admit that they were less aware of the simple workers, and we have used these communities to identify their talents and to accelerate their career path also. On blockchain, we had some entrepreneurs that earned millions of euros. They were at the bottom of the hierarchy, but they were much more skilled on blockchain, bitcoins than me and then the other top managers. So we were asking them to lead. But leading is not being a boss, like Ibrahimovic likes. But okay. We were proposing creativity techniques. This is Antonello Camisegra that I mentioned before. Today he's this global CEO of a multinational company active in 29 countries. Contour Global is the name of this company. He was playing with other ones, identifying ideas, solutions in the community, as one of the peers. This is a photo, because I want to share with you some stories. Nozomi Networks. They came to me with 0 revenues, with not the company. They had the company. 2 guys having an idea for cybersecurity of infrastructures. And when our president, Mattarella, went to Silicon Valley, he wanted to meet them, because now they are active in 42 different countries. They protect the Pentagon of the United States and many other critical infrastructures. When they came to me, they hadn't the company. I suggested them to create the company, to patent their ideas, and they said to Mattarella, we are here because Ernesto Chora helped us. But we helped them because we wanted to protect our infrastructures. That's why when the Russian invasion happened, we had plants in Russia, and we had plants in Europe attacked by Russian hackers. And we were able to defend both. The other companies didn't, as in Spain happened, in Greece. And that's why after they called me the last time that I wore a tie, this was the last time, some weeks before I was with Pope Francis, I wore a tie too. But after, no. And he said, oh, you are the one that they mentioned. Yes, it's true. Another real story. This person lives on a wheelchair. He wrote to me through LinkedIn, and he asked me, why don't you enable my wheelchair to be charged using a pole station? I have a pole station in front of my bank. He works for Banca Popolare di Milan. I would like to charge it using a pole. It didn't exist, this solution. We patented it. We developed with him, with his contribution, and we have won the award as the most innovative and sustainable innovation at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, competing against Apple, Siemens, Samsung, and the other ones. This is innovation. This is something that comes from technology, but this is sustainability, enabling people. And this is something that we use to win tenders. Because when cities launched tenders, we were competing with other ones, and we were saying, we have this solution for people with wheelchair. The other ones didn't have, so we won tenders. So it's innovation, sustainability, it makes money. And in this case, we were able to defend our infrastructure. It was innovation, it was sustainability in terms of survival of our infrastructures. Another concrete example, Fabio Bosatelli, 30 years, 2 degrees, construction engineering and management, and an MBA, but he is deaf. So he couldn't make any career in a multinational company. He can't hear. So he came to me saying, I need something to allow me to be a normal person. Because I'm deaf, I cannot attend a video conference. And we developed this solution with a startup. When people speak, there is vocal synthesis, and he can read the text. And when people, when he wants to speak, he can read, and what he reads, he can write, and what he writes is translated into speech. So it's text to speech and speech to text, and he is able to join video conferences. That's why he has become the global leader of robust program responsible for data-driven and advanced analytics in operation and maintenance renewables at global level, managing more than 250 people. He was an handicapped people with no way to make any career. He has become a manager. This is inclusion, this is innovation, this is sustainability in terms of inclusion and social inclusion. This is a way to better the world. This is what we call innovability. These are people working with him. He's responsible for the adoption of drones and robots in every plant that Enel has in the world. Another personal innovation. I was in a meeting in Davos, and at last second, my CEO called me. You have to go to, instead of me in a meeting. Okay, I am, how could I say, enough. In Italy, we say faccia come il culo, but okay, people can understand. So I went to this meeting, and I found Bill Gates and Al Gore. And they were talking about sustainable finance. I was the third speaker, but I didn't know anything about the topic, about the event. I just knew that I had to go in place of our CEO. And they were saying that sustainable finance is a problem, because you issue green bonds, you pay the same corporate interest rates, you don't save money, but you have more costs because you have to report about the projects that you are going to implement. So it was a not nice situation. I couldn't say anything, so when they passed to me the word, I say, they are fully right. I fully agree with them. We will find the solution. It was a crazy way to manage this. And the moderator asked me, okay, next year you will come here to share the solution. And I say, okay. I hope that they forget. But I tried to transform this into a challenge. We were working with brainstormings, and 5 people, me and other 4 people, we identified this as a solution. Linking our corporate bonds with our trajectory to decarbonize the company, and we literally invented a new asset class, a new bond asset class called SDGs linked bond. We linked with SDG number 7, and we linked our decarbonization trajectory to our corporate 20 years corporate bonds. We issued the first one in September 2019, 2.5 billion in the United States, saving 25 basis points. And when I left Enel, we had issued 29 billion of these bonds, saving up to 25 basis points. It means that every year we were saving 101 million of euros, just in terms of savings. And I was a little bit disappointed when we launched this, because Forbes published an article saying, how could it be possible that this Italian company, like say Third World, the Italian people, that they have invented pizza, they are famous for fashion, they are famous for wonderful monuments, ancient monuments. They are not famous for being expert in finance. How could it be possible that these Italian people from an energy company, because in United States, energy companies are like Stone Age. They are definitely not innovative. They are 20 years behind us. And they say Italian, and from the energy sector, they have created a real disruption in sustainable finance. And I issued a post on LinkedIn saying, it's possible because in Italy, even poor people can attend one of the best universities in the world, just spending 2,000 euros a year. In the United States, it's impossible, unfortunately. You must be rich to attend very famous universities. And we have the oldest one in the world, Bologna. With 2,000 euros, you can attend for 1 year. And the ambassador from USA was a little bit disappointed, sharing the comments with our, international relations manager, but I didn't care. Now this asset class value is 300 billion. We have invented it because we had innovability people in the financial department too. So having innovability people everywhere, in the business lines, in the functions, everywhere in the company, because every part of the company can be and must be changed. These are some followers of us. Tesco, there is Suzano, Novartis, Chanel, other imitators, other followers, Hapag-Lloyd, that is a big company, Natura, that is big one also, Generali, yes, we love when Generali followed our example. They were great, the first in insurance and other ones. So this asset class value is 300 billion at the global level. And these are some of the universities that have written cases of my job at Enel. That's why I am called from many universities around the world to hold speeches, because they study my case in their MBAs. And 2 cases from Berkeley, 2 from Harvard, 1 from Yale, 1 from ESADE. I hope that Trieste will write a case too in the future, so I will visit that wonderful city. And just the last example, is it possible to build a hybrid plant by combining the energy of the earth, the geothermal energy, with the energy of the sun? We asked MIT. They asked us for $865,000. And after many months, they said no. I asked, why not? And they were explaining 4 reasons why not. We couldn't make it possible. So we used these 4 reasons to nurture our innovation ecosystem. We launched 4 challenges, and we implemented in the United States the first geothermal plant hybridized with solar and photovoltaic sources of energy in a positive and efficient way. So we demonstrated to MIT that what they called impossible was possible, like Valentina Savino does. And we were able to do it, and MIT came back and they say, can we study how you made it possible? And we say, yes, okay. And we invited them to spend 3 weeks in our plant trying to understand how we could find solutions. Why we found solutions? Because we involved external startups, one from Israel, another one from Europe, innovators, independent innovators. There was an expert of pumps, heat pumps. He was an engineer in a nuclear submarine in the United States Army. He lived very close to this plant, Stillwater. Stillwater is the place where there is the Top Gun base. You have seen probably the movie Top Gun. Is in Stillwater. It's in Nevada. There is just the Top Gun base, some shops for the pilots and this plant. And they went there to study how those Italians made possible what they call impossible. I leave you with this last quote from Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. People think that when you say something, it's impossible. And I want to remember one of the participants of a brainstorming that I was managing, supporting people from AbbVie. People from AbbVie, they were working on an impossible task: treat hepatitis C. Also, my mother died for hepatitis C. And people were dying. After 5 years maximum, they were treated using interferon from Roche, and after they died in a very bad way. And this group of people were called heretic because it was impossible to find a solution, according to the very famous scientists. I have asked them to invite other heretics from other companies or independent companies. One of them was a very strange, uncommon Hungarian lady, not so tall, and she was working on mRNA idea. And everybody in the scientific area was calling her a crazy, an idiot, stupid. She has won the last Nobel Prize because she is the chief scientist officer of biotech. She has found the vaccine for COVID, but this is not something that is important. She is finding at least 5 vaccines against the most aggressive 5 tumors. And thanks to her contribution and the contribution of the other ones, today people don't die for hepatitis C. If someone has hepatitis C, she can be treated, or he can be treated thanks to the solutions that they have found, and she can stay for the rest of the life very well, without having any problem and without transmitting hepatitis C to the other ones. So this is the real innovability, creating something new that can have a positive impact on the world. And if any company is able to adopt an SDG, transforming this into a concrete opportunity to better the world, this company will be able to create value for the society and value for the shareholders and value for the employees. Because till you are able to innovate and to transform yourself into something that creates value, you will never die. This is my last message. Thank you.
Okay, so time is really short, and we have the closing remarks of Professor Pilotto, but if there are some questions for Ernesto, we will take them. Okay. It's a huge opportunity. Don't be shy.
They're hungry, probably.
Hungry. Okay, maybe me. Okay.
So, first of all, thank you for your speech. It's been very interesting and inspiring. And I particularly like the part when you mentioned on the importance of being open and free to think in order to innovate. And I was wondering, and I would like to hear from you on this, how does this idea go along with the fact that some countries like China, where people are strictly controlled and most of the businesses are run by the state. Also are very successful in innovating.
Thanks for this question that is definitely interesting. When they proposed to me to open up a new hub in China, I said no, for the reasons you were mentioning. People are not free, they cannot discuss the status quo, and even if they study, unfortunately, they cannot express themselves in a free way. But on the other side, when I had to implement a new business model, selling electric buses to the whole South America, I was looking for electric buses in Europe. I didn't find. I was looking for electric buses in the United States. The largest company had sold 750 buses in a year. I went to China, to the house of the owner of BYD, former orphan. He lived in an orphanage till he was 18 years old. He is a genius in technology. He has invented a lot of patents in battery management. That's why he has become the producer of batteries with the money from the state, who is providing the iPhone, iPad, and iPod batteries to Apple. And he started a new company producing electric cars and electric buses. And he was selling 605,000 buses, 6,500 buses a year. So I said, let's make the partnership with them. I can give you the plus and the minus. The plus was when we had COVID, we couldn't find masks. Even the government could find masks. And I asked him, I just sent him an email. Our workers need to upgrade the electric grids of hospitals. I cannot send them to hospitals because I have not masks. Please, can you send some masks? And the day after, a flight left from China with 2 million of masks, arrived in Rome, and we were able to provide masks to Italian workers and to Spanish workers. No agreement. He didn't ask me for money. We didn't discuss about the money. We didn't discuss about the terms. Our procurement colleagues were crazy, angry with me. How can I buy something that I don't know the price, I don't know anything? And I would say, okay, we need them, we have them, after we will fix. So, strong gratitude, strong support. I give you the minus. When I said, let's work together on innovation, I found a wall. They were closed, they didn't want to share anything. We couldn't, because freedom, sharing, and mutual support in terms of physical help, okay, but in terms of intellectual help, no. So that's why I didn't want to start in China, in United Kingdom of Arab, United Kingdom of come si chiama? Emirates, in Saudi Arabia. They offered to us a lot of money. I always say no, because if a lady can't drive a car, how? Until 2 years ago, it was this situation. We had this situation in Saudi Arabia. How can I ask our people to go there? If they are doing a lot of efforts to better themselves, but I didn't want. So I think that also the sustainability metrics, human rights, respect, should influence your innovation. I didn't say before, so thanks for your question, because it's very important. And I had the veto right in our investment committee. I was the only one with the CEO. When something was not sustainable, I could cancel the investment. We had to invest 4 billion in Saudi Arabia. Everything was ready. The majority of colleagues hate me because I said no, because in Saudi Arabia there is not enough respect of human rights. So I fully agree with you that freedom is important. Thanks for your question.
Thank you so much. I know that there are other hands that are raised, but we have short time, so maybe we can collect them and maybe discuss after in the aperitivo, okay? So I will leave the floor. Thank you, Ernesto.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be in an ecosystem that has people guiding like you. So I will leave the floor to Professor Stefano Pilotto for the closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Good evening, dear friends of MIB Trieste School of Management. Thank you to all the speakers. I think it was an amazing session. And I have, first of all, to make a remark, Laura, for you and for your board. It was a great way to present your activity, to transfer to the others what are you doing, how you're doing that with a flexible, dynamic, and I think very effective way. So I congratulate all of you, and I think that the reason why we have this is because we have a huge presence of ladies in the new board. So congratulations. Secondly, you know, Laura, when you were describing the history of our association, I had the pleasure to be the first president of MIB, and we started to work more than 20 years ago, and it was a great challenge. There was the beginning of the activity. Before, we only had an association of the MBA program. And then we decided to enlarge it and to extend it to the other courses, and it was a great success. And now you are growing. The presence here is a terrific success. So congratulations. We also have a nice presence of the Origini students. Yesterday we ended 2 days reunion after 23 years of Origini, and it was a very moving and important moment. I would like also to reiterate the congratulations to a member of our school. You already mentioned her, but you do not imagine how much work Valentina Savino is doing to help the MIB Alumni Association, to communicate everything, to be present, I don't say daily, but almost daily in your life in order to inform you about what we are doing. The network of the association is very important. Wherever you go in all the continents, you will find the former students of MIB wishing to help you and, of course, to assist you if you move for your work. This is a great asset, I think, of our association. Coming here, I was also talking at the telephone with the director of our school, Professor Vladimir Nanut. He asked me to transfer to you his warm congratulations and support for your activity, and we encourage you to be involved more and more in the association, as they say, to transfer to them what you think and what are your proposals, because the creativity, the curiosity that you have in your mind, it is for sure an element of success. We do not have much time. I would like to say that it was a huge pleasure for me, even though we did not sleep very much in the last night, but to come here and to assist to this fantastic moment. And, ladies and gentlemen, it's not finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and it's true, it's not finished. So we will see at Baccaro, but first of all, I want to say to you, thank you, of course, but also that we have some free tickets for the World of Potential exhibition. So Valentina will distribute it before we leave the place. And so thank you so much. See you in the evening at Baccaro.
Il wine tour, chi è ancora interessato ci vediamo prima di uscire per raccogliere soldini, perché mi mancano ancora qualcuno che si era iscritto, e quelli che sono in lista di attesa vi fermate perché vediamo se riusciamo anche a sistemare. Ma grazie, ci vediamo.